beautiful people of Earth Nation. I just wanted to hop on here and share a bit of insight that I've been stumbling across, and the heart of this message is solely based on the power of self-knowledge, not to invoke a sense of ego, but to regulate the nervous system towards your highest good. And from my own personal journey, being introduced to complex trauma therapy and Nichiren Buddhism, which to me is basically ancient neuroscience, has awakened me to the many levels of having vision in this life. Really dictates the way that we navigate the knowledge that we think we know about ourselves and the world around us. If you have ever even read just the introduction and the first full chapter of the 4 Agreements, and if you haven't, I would encourage you. There's some folks have put it up on YouTube, like voiceovers and audiobooks of it. Also, I highly encourage you to be sure that you have a library card to your neighborhood's library, public library. It is essential that public libraries are available to us all in navigating the digital space where information can be changed in a matter of clicks. But going back to that book, there's this analogy that is called, I believe it's called the fog. And if I remember correctly, the fog is the aspect of human life where we have awareness, we have realizations, and then somewhere along the line, we forget those realizations that would maintain a clear path for us. And that is related to as the fog, how the fog comes and in a way distracts us. We allow the fog to come and it distracts us from our highest good. And I kind of attune that to like weeds in a garden, and how essential it is that you have a ritual and also a knowledge base of how to keep the weeds away from the vegetation, aka plants and things like that you want in your garden versus what you don't want. And that's a mirror to life, and a mirror to the mind. So why am I sharing this? I realized that a lot of the life that was presented to me prior to me turning 30, prior to me having a dance with death, was basically a mirage. And it's quite possible that you may only understand, I'm not sure, you may only understand what I'm alluding to if you've gone through the process already, that aspect of life. And if you also have chosen to re-educate yourself about what you think you know, about what you think you know, that you think you know. I say that 3 times because there's this concept in Buddhism that's called 3,000 realms in a single moment. I encourage you to look it up. Life is really that intricate. It's like a layered spider web. And I know that those who will get it will get it. So there is what we think we know, and then there's a science to what we know, and there's a science to what we think we now know, since we know the science of what we now know. And it can feel overwhelming. You can feel overstimulated, but the key is partially silence and partially embracing the shakeup, embracing what seems like you being lost, you being duped, but not to harbor resentment. Instead, to trust your innate respect and dignity as you navigate life. And I'm very grateful to have experienced higher levels of therapy. I did not know that existed in the way that I've experienced it recently, and I honestly feel like every time I think about this, I get really emotional because I think about some people who have chosen themselves to leave this realm, and I wonder if they came across any of the insights that I'm now privy to, and if that would have made a difference for them. I know for some people it's chemical. For some people, it's a mixture of chemical and knowledge-based to stop releasing certain chemicals in the mind and the body. So I just think about that sometimes as I gain more awareness, because when you feel yourself on a loop that you can't quite, let me just talk about myself. I felt myself on a loop that I couldn't quite get off, and I did not want to be on that loop. I had no idea that I didn't have the mental, all of life is actually mental. Just like playing sports. It's really mental and part physical, but it's really mental. And there are skill sets, there are skills to support us using the mind in such a way that we have a secure attachment to our experiences in this life. Secure in the sense of knowing that water is wet, and if I don't want to be wet, I either need to stay inside if the wetness or rain is coming from outside, or get a bucket and find out where the leak is, or get out the shower. And I feel like you will understand it. What I just said will make sense to those that understand it and that are willing to attempt to look at that human experience, that experience as a living being, and gather what I mean by that. My hope is that you offer yourself the respect and dignity to know that not only is it a miracle that you were born and you are living and breathing and you're able to perceive the things that I'm saying, be able to even use your eyes to watch it, your ears to hear, your mind to process what I'm saying, your hands to hold your phone, the know-how, the mind-body connection for you to even be on an electronic device and gather insight to hopefully support your highest good during the time you're here in this form. I just hope that this video or any other videos that I may share in social media, on social media, in media in general, will help you develop and maintain the truth of being humanistic in your navigation of your time here on earth, and at the same time maintain your peace, maintain your joy, and maintain your happiness, and maintain the lessons within the suffering, the lessons within the joy and happiness of this realm, the lessons within the pain of this realm, and count it as inspiration to encounter more good fortune. And know that you are not the first human being in the centuries of human beings being on earth to navigate many of the trials and tribulations you're currently navigating. And now, they may not have had a particular technology or access, but they did have some level of access and some level of technology to navigate the human mind, the human perception, the blocking of the human perception. And that if we were able, we meaning human animals, if we were able to overcome the many centuries to get you here in this moment and to get me here in this moment, to communicate with one another that all is not lost and there is still hope because you have life. And life on many realms, because even the lives of the people that have passed are still influencing the perceivable good and the perceivable negativity that we encounter today. And what I'm realizing is way more important than any of the things that they have expressed in my 35 years of living, of being important. The absolute vital importance that I'm perceiving now is that you are aware of your self-knowledge as yourself, whatever your name is, like me, as myself, as Bernadette Constance Carter, as a female, you know, the knowledge of being female, being born female, living this life as female, understanding how the body works so that I work with how my personal body works so that I work with my body as opposed to against my body. Because although we're humans, you know, we may not have all the same parts, you know, but we may have similar systems. Those systems don't always work the same way. And having that knowledge versus looking at somebody else and being like, well, I should be able to do it because they did it. Like, yes, and also know that there's a particular formula for that being that makes them work or shut down. And it may not be that for you. And you got to know that. Not that the information or knowledge from that person may not be of use to you, but just understanding that you got to do it in your own way. You have a unique coding. And I think that's what makes life interesting, is we all have unique codings and formulas that make us work in many different ways for our own personal good or for our personal detriment, you know? And my hope for others is that with that knowledge, we inspire peace within ourselves first. And that peace does not equal disturbance in others, in the sense of, like, you know, your peace should not mean that someone else suffers, unless that suffering leads to an awakening for the greatest good. Now, someone might say, well, who's determining what's the greatest good? With the knowledge that I have right now, my assumption, because again, I'm still learning and I'm still alive. So there's still more to conceptualize. But my hope is that just like when you work out, initially, it can become painful. Even just the thought of getting up to go and do your exercise for 30 minutes, that could feel painful. You know? But that is a necessary process of you maintaining a new reality. And it's the same thing in, like, when a birthing person gives birth to another being, you know, it's a bit uncomfortable, you know, even if for some birthing people it may not be a painful birth, it's still a bit uncomfortable. You got little human with arms and stuff coming out of hole. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, when you go through different things in life and when you gain awareness, that, like, conceptually, it's just like a reformatting, like the impression is shifting. So therefore, you know, there's going to be some, you know, tension. I know for me, there were many days I wanted to tap out, but I know that I wouldn't do it. And I'm grateful that I didn't tap out, because I have way more peace. I have way more peace than I've had in years. And I really thought that the trials and tribulations that I've been experiencing for years now, but especially the past like 3 to 4 years, would be my end. It turns out it wasn't. It was an end, but it wasn't the end that I assumed would happen if certain things unfolded. And I just want to encourage you to become more curious about yourself and who you think you are. I encourage you to become more curious about navigating the realizations that often present itself as pain or suffering or joy and happiness. I really hope for peace, internal peace that overflows. And that you offer yourself the self-compassion that you offer to the people who at times don't deserve your compassion, if you know what I mean. I'm not talking about you hurting anyone, but like, when people are doing things and they know what they're doing and they think you stupid, that you're not gonna see them, it's fucking with you. I'm talking about that. Offer yourself that compassion, that patience as you navigate and do this human thing in this lifetime, and this is just my awareness, my realizations right now. Life can happen and my realizations can change. Because the one thing that's constant in life is what? Change. Yeah. The one thing in life that's constant is change. And sometimes change be changing and it be like, can you breathe? But after you finish crying, gather the pieces, decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to put to the side for later and what you're throwing the fuck away. And what Dory said, just keep swimming. What do? We swim. I think she did that. I haven't seen that movie in years, but that's what I'm remembering, okay? But yeah. Go at your own pace and also hold yourself accountable, because your own pace doesn't mean you willy-nilly shooting from the hip. It's you authentically moving. Part of it is that you authentically moving, authentic from your highest good, not authentic from your trauma, because that's not your highest good. That's just data. To me, that's just data. You get me? That's insight. And my hope is that, again, with the self-compassion that you offer to people, the compassion that you offer to other people, offer to yourself, my hope is that you become, as much as you want to please other people, as much as you want things that are outside of yourself, my hope is that you become that determined for your human revolution. And when I say human revolution, I mean really going within and realizing everything you need is on the inside of you and you are actually in the driver's seat. And it's very essential, especially if your ass was born in one of the colonizers' land, that you make sure that your ass is in the driver's seat. You hear me? Because if God and the government is in the driver's seat, where the hell are you going? We got access to the data now about where they have taken the people in the world before we got really hit
through technology and realize, wait a damn minute, we in a psyops. And other people was like, I told you, nigga. I told you, nigga. That's a soundbite from this little boy on social media. Anyway, if you know, you know. If you know, put a if you're familiar with that. I told you, niggas, I told you. Put a put an Afro pig. But yeah. Yeah, this human stuff is it's really a sci-fi flick. It's really giving witches and warlocks. It's giving all the things they told us wasn't real. It's giving Men in Black. They're wearing meat suits. And those that know, when you watch this, you're gonna be like, yeah. And it's also giving the things that we think we're aware of, you know? There's like levels to it. And the main thing is that with self-knowledge and the proper tools, because since we are not the first humans to have these questions, to have this exploration, to even be offline. You know, there's like woke people, half woke people, and then folks that's just offline. It's been like that for years. And what's most important is that when you come across knowledge that could possibly offer the sort of clarity that awakens the knowledge you already like have within you, you will realize that you are enough and you are more than enough. Not that you don't need to learn, but that there's a process to this life thing. And sometimes you do, for some people, they do need mentors, you know? For some people, they need physical mentors. Some people, they can read books and gain the insight. Some people need to watch a movie. I think it's also depending on how you learn and what your attachment theory is, and also what your attachment theory, and your nervous system, which all of these things are like connected, you know. The most importantly, when you encounter knowledge, creating value systems that no matter which way you turn, the fog would not blur the shit out. It's kind of like when you're driving. I don't know. You in a car. Hopefully everybody's been in the car. Not everybody's been on a plane, but you're driving and it's raining, and there are times you can't see nothing on the road, and sometimes you can see a tree or something or another car. You know what I mean? Or your senses tell you, okay, there's a car on the right. I feel like there's a car on the right. Because when cars pass by you, it has a certain type of energy, you know? So like having that awareness, that discernment as you're navigating, you'll say, oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, if I want my what they call it? Can you believe I used to drive? What they call the windshield? It's called a windshield. Put down below. Yes, Bernadette. It's called the windshield. The windshield. When that sucker fog up, like the first time my windshield fogged up, I didn't freaking know what to do in the car to take the fogginess off. I thought it was over. But you know what I did? I did what I used to do when I was a kid. This is so dangerous. Anyway, I tapped into my senses. As I used to be like, well, if cats can see in the dark, I should be able to tap in. So you know what I did? I turned off the radio and I focused my energy. And look, I live to tell the story. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying y'all try it. Please. I'm going to put a disclaimer on this whole. Do not say I told y'all to do any of the shit the card thing that I'm talking about. Okay? Because some of y'all being these influence comments acting like they made y'all do stuff like buy a product. That product didn't work. I use Remember, you are a sovereign being. You are in the driver's seat of your life. And if you choose to go and do something, you got to take some responsibility, because there's other things people told you to do and you didn't do it. Oh yeah, what about that stuff? But yeah, just like being intuitive. But again, that's self-knowledge. I move with self-knowledge. I move with, okay, I was driving in this area. Okay, there's usually a turn right here. Let me see. Actually, let me just follow this car until I can see. Let me stay on this side of the shoulder of the road so that if I need to pull over, I can pull over. You know? So, all in all, as you can see, I don't have a script. My hope is that through your human revolution, which is getting to the truth of you, the truth of your existence, why you have the family you have, the lessons you learned through having the parents that you've had, the siblings that you've had or didn't have, decoding that stuff and deciding. And when I say decoding, it's like, oh, why did that person hurt me? It's more like realizing that you have people-pleasing tendencies and you feel a lot of pressure when you are around your siblings and your parents, because you don't want to look like a failure. And part of the sibling beef is that you don't want to feel incompetent. And somehow, very quickly, you start feeling incompetent around your siblings or around a particular parent. You know, getting to what's really going on there, because there are other aspects of connecting with, there's other aspects of you living where you don't have that feeling. So like, what is going on within you that you can shift or alter, whether that's maybe your family, you don't even really be around them. But it kind of sucks, is you're like, oh my God, I love my family, but every time I'm around them, I feel like shit. You're going to have to choose. You want to feel like shit, or you want to move towards your highest good? And as I learn more about this, I want to talk about like values, because I've heard about values before. I think it was 2014 was the first time I really started, like, I had met this, what do you call it? A life coach. And he had talked about values. And I was like, what? And recently this year, I had, when I've been going through this complex trauma groups, the whole idea of values came up again. And that's why I started this. Oh, I guess I am talking about values. That's why I started this video talking about like self-knowledge, because I used to put family as God and family as my number one. But my thing is like, how am I going to be a vessel to God when I don't even know myself? Well, God's going to show you. Yeah, but and if I'm waiting for something outside of myself to tell me who I am, with the most important relationship, which is God, wouldn't I do that in other aspects? Because that is the rhythm in which I'm navigating in this realm, which is seeking outside of myself. And so, as someone who used to practice Christianity, I realized that some of the constructs also reinforce the trauma that I experienced in my life. And I'm not saying that Christianity is bad. I'm just saying some of the constructs created fog in areas where I thought I know myself, because, you got to be a child of God. You got to be a good Christian girl. You got to all these things. And I couldn't find myself. There was no room. Because God and family filled up the seats already. And I'm supposed to be nothing, and God's supposed to be everything. And again, if you don't understand those concepts, it may make you fumble. For some people, it works. But for some people, it don't work in the way that one will hope. Talking from my own experience. I'm back to wrap up this video. As you can tell, or assume, I'm just keeping 100. 100. It's not like I was about to lie. Brenda, what was that? Anyway, I'm currently living in a skilled nursing facility because my health has been kicking my butt, and a situation happened recently where your girl became homeless, but not for too long, so I'm grateful for that. And I'm basically rebooting my life. Rebooting. And I'm realizing that for me personally, this is also something I was going to say. Oh, actually, I don't have to say that. Self-knowledge is so essential, so that, I guess I'll talk about myself. Self-knowledge as a value, as the number one value, self-knowledge for me at this time. In retrospect, has been assisting me in understanding how to love myself. And because I'm understanding how to love myself, I'm also regulating my nervous system for me, as opposed to for the amount of people that I was people pleasing with. You know what I'm talking about? And that self-knowledge means that I'm moving from the truth of me, the truths, I guess, of me, and having a more clear perception, as opposed to the shit I was doing before, and me feeling lost, and me feeling like this is not my life. Of course, this is not your life. It doesn't align. But how did I know that? I instinctually knew that, but did not know how to shift, because in my mind, I'm doing all the things. As a good Christian girl, I'm doing all the things. I did all the things. And then a part of me just said, did you do all the things? Let me tell you something. Yes, I did all the things. And baby, I thought I was cursed after a while. I said, wait a minute. I'm being a good Christian girl. I'm reading my Bible, I'm studying, I'm fasting. I'm being a vessel. And I'm depressed as hell. Plus, I had illness sneak up on me, and none of the freaking doctors could tell me what the hell is going on. I'm like, damn. They said if you have faith as a grain as a mustard seed. They said if you seeking, you shall find. But if you seeking, I guess I'll get into that in another video. It turns out there are many ways to seek, even if you have faith. Terrifying shit. Terrifying shit. Anyway, that'll be another video for another day, because then I'm gonna make this video longer than it already is. But baby, that self-knowledge has brought me so much peace. And you know, and to a certain extent, when I got introduced to Nichiren Buddhism, I think I said this in another video, and I'm chanting. And you chant to get clarity of to see your life clearly. I'm chanting, and one day I realized, Bernadette, do you even know how to love yourself? And I was like, what you mean, do I know how to love myself? Then I said, do you know how to love yourself? And what did I do to love myself? I was reading, I was praying, I was fasting, I was da-da-da, da-da-da. And then one day, once I started going to complex trauma therapy, one of my therapists, I've had many within the past 3 years, said to me, love yourself. And then, okay, she was talking, I had mentioned something about self-care, because like I'm trying to learn how to love myself. She was like, Bernadette, wait, it's not funny, it's actually the bitch dragged me, okay? She said, if you knew how to love yourself and how to take care of yourself, if you knew what self-care really meant for you, you wouldn't be sick. You wouldn't have as much lack of knowledge as you currently have about how to maintain your everyday. I was like, at first I was like, excuse me, bitch, like in my head. But then I was like, I had to sit with it. And something I've learned in life is, instead of being offended, I choose to pause and see, is there any truth to what's being said? And what part of me is responding to this moment? And I sat with what she said, and I said, I don't know how to take care of myself. That is true, because I keep getting sicker. And I was just on that video call, like, I don't even know if she was legally supposed to even say that shit to me, but I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did, because it woke me all the way up. And of course, it took several more sessions. But I was like, wow. Because sometimes what we think is self-care, it's not doing what we needed to do. And it's quite possibly that you don't know the formula just yet. So as I figure things out, I'll share bits and pieces here and there as I'm figuring myself out. And if it inspires you to figure out how to develop and maintain your human revolution, and with all of us collectively getting to the heart of us and navigating from a space of respect and dignity, for this journey, a place of actual self-knowledge, not just like your preferences, but like understanding what's your blood type, what kind of foods support your body versus not. are you even eating the right portions of food to support your brain and the balancing of your hormones and chemicals in your body? Like the basic stuff, the shit they should have taught us in health class and in PE. Because it turns out health and PE are actually one of the most important classes in our freaking academic careers before you go to college. Why the hell they let us think that was a free period? Especially for underprivileged children. We were set up. That's what I'm gonna say. We were set up. And our teachers that just tried to do their best, thank you. At least we got something. Something. I had a PE teacher named Mr. Murphy. I believe his name was Murphy. Anyway, it was the older black guy. It wasn't Rizzo. It's the older black guy. I went to Lincoln High School in Jersey City. And I remember him like doing fitness workouts with us and like trying to explain like how the body works and stuff. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then of course, when I went to different like summer acting programs, I learned more about like different movement techniques and how the body works and things like that. Because believe it or not, actors actually have to study the human body. Mind, body, spirit, in order to tap in the way you be like, dang, it really played that part. I almost forgot it was, what's her name? Yeah, but I just wanted to come on here and just, with hopes that you become more curious about self-knowledge, about your human revolution, about maintaining and developing true peace within yourself, however that develops in your personal life. And then just living a personalized life versus the copy and paste shit that the people be doing in the world. Even before social media, people was copying and pasting. But if we go within, gather data, really see what we like and what we don't like, not look at ourselves as too much work to do to figure our stuff out. And yes, people can have like blueprints, but the blueprints don't mean that you copy and paste the blueprint. That's called plagiarism. You look at it, you see how it works for you, see what you like, you see what you don't, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what could work for you, and you make your life from there. But again, some people don't even know the reason why they are depressed or unhappy is because they don't actually know themselves or how to love themselves and things like that. So you're looking at other people to be like, well, this guy doesn't love me, or this girl, she did that. And it's just like, but you don't even know how to do that. So therefore, that person is more of like a mirror. And then sometimes when you meet people that are like, you're like, wow, I feel like I'm becoming a better person since you've been in my life. It's more like you did a quantum leap and got into the frequency. And it's not like you have to be like good enough. You got to do all these things. Like at times, sometimes you'll vibrate to a certain frequency, and vibrating could be you just had a fabulous day. You just cut off something, or you decided you're going to quit something, and you doing that puts you in your highest frequency, even if you're crying. But you decided, I'm not going to be a part of this shit no more. And all of a sudden, since you're in your authentic vibration, you end up meeting the love of your life or your best friend, So this life is really wild. And I'm fine. I've become my new purpose of living. And I just hope that you feel empowered. That if you've been on this journey, been on a similar journey as me, or like you're about to start, or you're like just on it, that like I encourage you to know that there is support. The support that you're seeking is out there, and it's gonna cost the old version of you. You're gonna gain a lot of more stuff, I'm telling you. but it's also going to cost the other shit that you was holding on to a little bit too tight. And you're going to cry. And you're going to be mad as fuck. You're going to be confused. But then you're going to be like, wait a damn minute. I'm crying over what? Put your ass up. But yeah, and why am I saying this? I'm not the only human that has had this experience, so I know that this is more like a universal possibility. But not everybody says yes, and I see why. I see why a lot of people don't end up saying yes. It's a lot of work, but so far on the journey, it's been worth it. So I came back from the other side to let y'all know. Just in case you was thinking about backsliding on yourself. Keep going, mid. Keep going, nigga. Keep going. And I pray you peace. I pray you good fortune. And I pray you the clarity to regulate your nervous system. And see what life feels like with a regulated nervous system, and the skill sets to, if something happens and you start teeter-tottering, you know how to teeter and tot. So you don't feel like, where am I? Or you're in the teeter phase, oh shit, where am I? I'm in the totter place, oh, I'm balanced. So you don't freak out a little bit too much. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game, or you go into a place. You're like, oh, no, wait, I press, oh, no, I'm trying to go to the 3rd floor. Then you go 3rd floor instead of the 2nd floor like you pressed, because you was on the 1st. You get what I'm saying? Like, or if you're playing a video game, you know you're supposed to press XX. I don't be playing video games, but when I had attempted to, I know that they got an X, there's an A, there's a square, there's the buttons on the side right here, and then there's the ones on top. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You do a certain combination, all of a sudden you could jump, skip, hop 2 times, a sword will come out, you can get the gun. You're playing Call of Duty. I've seen that before. Alright, so yeah. Just know that what you're seeking is actually seeking you. So be mindful of what you're seeking. Be patient with what you're seeking, because sometimes the things you think will bring you happiness, it's only the path to wake you up to what your true happiness is. Girl, boy, gal, whatever the phrase is, whoever you are, just know that so far, it's been worth it. I thought I was going to crash out. I did a little bit. But it's been worth it. It's been worth it. Because I found me. I found me. And I've met her before. I just happen to be blocking her with all the other constructs of life. The fucking colonizer put me ecosphere. Okay? So, if you never thought about decolonizing your life, consider looking into what that may mean for your experience. Even if you're Caucasian. Because they tried to get the Irish at one point. You got one talking about 300 years, I heard? Yeah. Them folks tried to get the Irish. So, if you Caucasian, try to figure out how you could decolonize your existence. Because, baby, they did a number on us. But luckily, a lot of us are awakened and have been for a while, and some of us are catching up. I hope you heard that, because that was kind of on the pillow. Anyway, have a good evening. Have a great day. Blessings to you, and feel free to leave insights in the comments. Ooh, that's kind of hard. Feel free to leave insights in the comments, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also click that notification bell, because the video is gonna come in, but they're gonna trickle in a bit. I'm trying to navigate health issues, a support that I don't exactly control, and also obstacles that present themselves. So as I offer myself self-compassion, may you offer me self-compassion too. Okay. Okay, ciao. And as always, I wish you your absolute best. Blessings. Ciao.